I'm making a Metroidvania. It's very early days and we don't have too much in art or stories, but we're building up the basics. Here's a quick recap of everything we've done so far. The very first thing that we did was put together some smooth movement. You absolutely need good movement in these games. It's not even a question when your competition is games like Hollow Knight and Silksong. Jump, double jump, dash, wall climb, you name it, we've got it. Next, we need enemies. You need to have a wide variety of different kinds of enemies scattered around the map to make traversal challenging and engaging. Enemies that make you stop and question your strategy for getting to your destination. And what's your destination? A massive boss with multiple phases, probably. We've made 3 so far: a security drone that charges you, shoots missiles and spawns smaller enemies, a worm-faced guy that flies around the room, stopping occasionally to shoot massive laser from his face, and gets really mad when you do damage to him. And finally, we have this poor walrus. Experiment number 094SR, a research project gone wrong. He escaped and killed all the people who have mistreated him, and now he won't let you past. And what do you find on your way to these boss rooms? You find secrets. And what are those secrets? Upgrades to your energy and upgrades to your health that will help you fight those bosses. Next, we added money. When you defeat enemies, you get a nice little reward. Now, what do you do with said money? Well, you need a place to spend it, which is why our next step is to set up a shop. But to buy stuff, you need an inventory, which we just finished setting up. It's pretty basic, but it should do the job for now. Anyway, let's get to work on setting up this shop. Hello. Look at my hair. How's it going, everybody? Welcome. It is Saturday morning, and it is very quiet. I don't like that, eh? Let's get some music going. Oh my goodness. How are we all doing? Okay, so before we get into the inventory, I actually wanted to look at one other thing. I've been experimenting with the visuals, and it's been pretty fun, so I'd like some feedback, please. Basically, what I'm experimenting with is actually a 3D background to give us like a parallax effect on the background. And so I created this grid map script, and it's pretty simple. All it does is just look at the tile map and then make a look at all these prints. We don't need these. And then make a grid map that corresponds to what it sees. So if it sees the ceiling, ground, it like puts a different grid block. I don't know what you call them, chunks, which is pretty cool. But I am concerned about the lighting effects that may come with this as a, you know, like just as a challenge. Like you can have it as a background, but then what do you do? Like the characters are sitting on top. If you have like an explosion, do you mimic that? Welcome to the chat. What the hell entertainment? How's it going? So we've got this big match, basically just like checking the different types of grids. And we've got like above, below, left, right. We're just detecting this different sizes. And then you can also have like a different depth. I need to program this so that I can just set this depth. Sorry, you're late. You're not late, bro. I've only been live for like 5 seconds. No, it's been like 2 minutes. I'm experimenting with like how I go live because I am scheduling the streams now, which means that I can just sort of instantly go live, which is pretty nice. Assuming I went live to the right stream, which it looks like I did. Yeah. So yeah, I can just go live immediately. I don't need to have a starting soon, which is better for YouTube, not so much for Twitch. Okay, so we've got this sort of cell test. So we can go up to three deep, right? And then you put the wall back, and we press save here, and I'll close this out, right? And now you've got this. We'll clear this map, right? And so you've got all these different blocks that you'd have to put in a certain order for this to work. And then, yeah, all I have to do is click this construct base map button, and it'll instantly construct the background. And then we can basically, what I was thinking with this is like, you can have different tiles. See how it's like got different colors for the different things that it's detecting, like these bottom edges, these top edges, the wall, the floor, the ceiling, they're all detected differently. So you could have like quite a lot of variation here. And you could do the same again for the walls. You could say like, oh, this one's one off the floor, so like do a different thing. And basically this gives like a sort of a parallax effect. Let me just turn off the music and I'll just hit new game. And you can sort of see it in the background there. And it's just a very simple effect. Obviously you would need to like actually do the art properly and match the colors so that it looks correct. Long time since I've seen anything Godot, unfortunately. Been unable to do game dev for now, only watching because it's peak. Hell yeah, dude. Thanks for stopping by. Stream Elements mentioned me twice? What the hell? That's gonna be a mistake, right? So yeah, you get this, and then obviously there's some challenges like with the secrets and stuff, hiding those. So I don't know, I think it's a pretty fun look. It definitely helps it stand out amongst like other pixel platformers. Where's the, I'll get to the top of this. It becomes a lot more obvious when you start manipulating the camera. Oh, came back towards me. I need to add more to the explosion so it's not just money flying out of these things. Kill that guy. So you can sort of see like you get that parallax. I don't know, I think it's pretty fun. Ugh. Ouch. I like it. But we have a job to do, and that is to create more inventory system. Well, we need to finish the inventory system because right now you can you can buy, but it doesn't store your purchases. Also, like this this UI is not the best, you know, like when I hit the buy button, it takes it out of focus there, but like it also, there's no feedback. It doesn't tell you that you bought something. So we need to like add some visuals there, right? And there's also no money. You don't know how much money you have. I need to fix that, right? Okay. Because like I have 4 in my inventory. You start with 2, so. And then the other thing I have an issue with is if I save it, then, no, if I save it, it's fine. It's if I reload. Anyway, let me quit out of this one because this was like a separate fork that I made for this. I'll go back to the main. I'll bring that in. I think I'll keep it. I don't know how much I'll use it. Oh my god. It always wants to open up on the second screen. Where is it going? It'd be nice to add coin magnet, short range. Yes. Yeah, you do need to have them like actually go into the character. Yes, I think I agree. Okay. Okay, so we need the shop. Go to 2D. So, the issues, what are the issues? Okay, we don't, let's go to the shop UI. There, we need to display money. I think, number 1, we want to be updating that. Number 2, we need to save the inventory. And maybe just fix up some of this stuff, like the items themselves. I think they're called shop items. I don't want them to become deselected when you click buy. So how I'm doing this at the moment, I believe is with focus. The item selected, item on focus entered, on focus exited. I guess the problem is when you hit the buy button, isn't it? When you hit the buy button, you lose focus and then it's going to become deselected. Technically, the item is still selected, or is it? Classic. Is it still selected when you click the buy button, or does that stop? I don't know because I'm not getting any visual feedback to tell me that I've actually bought something. So it might be worth like adding an animation player to this. Or just add like a purchased, and we'll just make it like shake or something like that, right? I think that would be like, or maybe like a swell, like a scale. You could scale the margin container. Can you do that? Is that possible? Am I gonna like regret? Oh, we could change the margins, right? That doesn't really do anything. Layout. Localization transform. Okay, but the pivot is not in the center, so yeah, put the pivot offset ratio to be 0.5 so that it goes in the center. There we go. I finally have a stable internet connection. Hell yeah, dude. That's the best feeling. I went for years without good internet. And it does not feel good. So I know exactly how you feel. The phone service in the English countryside is truly awful. I don't doubt that. I can't even go like 5 seconds away. I go like half an hour away from the city. It's like going to shit. It's so stupid. It's like, what the hell? Okay, this needs to be quick. Faster. That'll do. That's to tell you that you purchased something. So make that 0.2 seconds. And we'll go to the item. And now what? We don't have anything here to tell us that we've bought an item. So we've got like initialize and item selected. We could... So we can have item purchased. And we can go to, we need access to the animation player. I suppose I could use the animation player to take back focus, eh? There's a couple of different things I could do. But for now, item purchased is animation player.play and then purchased. I think that's what I called it. Copy. Yeah, okay. So now we can go to the shop and then on the purchase. We can, on buy button pressed, if not selected, return. If not shop items has item selected, return. Then item cost this, player data game data, and then we do like a credit check to make sure you can actually buy it. And this is where you can add items. So once you've added item, you could here you can go item selected dot item purchase, right? Why isn't it showing up? It's us. Is item selected an item, or is it a inventory shop item? Item selected is an inventory item. It's not a shop item. Wait, do I ever shop item icon? I don't have access to them. Bar first item, item list, get child. Then I get, oh wow, that's interesting. I mean, that's probably item selected, item inventory. A better way to do it. Inventory item. Item selected, item yada yada yada. Item selected. Wait, okay, popular. For I an item shop, initialize item. Item list container add child. New shop item, duplicate. How am I connecting? I forget my own code. I only wrote this on Wednesday. That's crazy. Okay, so like, yeah, the item is not a shop item, so this is going to be trickier than I thought. Item selected. That could be a shop item. It's probably fine. Item selected. On item selected, inventory item. So this will tell us how, like, basically we're populating the information. When we select the item, we get the inventory item, and we go through and we grab the information to populate like the description and the name. So like you can see on the right hand side what you're actually buying. This could be the shop item, and then that way we would have access to it here. We are also, and shop items is also just a dictionary, right? Shop items is just inventory item and int. So, oh, that's right, because we're obviously populating these shop items with the information from the dictionary, not the other way around. Like the dictionary is driving what's actually in the shop, not these like shop items. That's just something you populate it with. So we will need to have access to that somehow. What's the smartest way to do it? I reckon just on item selected, pass it through and make the item a shop item, and then you can get the item selected, right? Yeah, instead it can be item selected the item, right? Because shop item has that information still. So rather than emit itself, rather than emit item, we can have it emit itself. So here you can just change this to shop item icon. And so now we're emitting that. That's the only place we emit it, right? It's a pretty small script. And then back in the shop script, we make that item selected as shop item icon. Now we'll get some errors. It's okay. We can just go item dot so on item selected is going to be a shop item icon, right? And so item selected equals item is fine. And then here we're going to need item dot item. Is that what it would need to be? I need to change the name of this variable. It would be item. Okay. Shop item. Shop item.item.name. Okay. That makes more sense. Okay. So that's done. Is the stream frozen? Did I F? Well. I'm looking down at my tablet. I'm not seeing anything. Wait, we're back? We're back. Okay. I don't think I ever effed. I think it was just my tablet. I think. We'll see. Okay, shop item, long description. That makes sense. And so now here, shop items dot item selected dot item. Item selected dot item. Should auto. And now we can go item selected dot purchased. Just dot item purchased. Right, so now we can call that. Easy. Let's see how much I broke just by doing that. No sound, please. Do I have any money? Oh, there's money right here. I can't press the buy icon. Oh, it's at $5. I can afford it. Oh, there's errors. Okay. Shop item. Error calling signal item focus selected to callable control shop on item selected. Cannot convert one object to object. Okay, so item emit item. I meant to, this needs to be self. Okay, I'm not getting the animation, which is kind of annoying. Okay, what's the debugger say? Attempted to use has in an object type panel in a type dictionary key which does not inherit resource. Okay, that's fine. If shop items dot has item selected dot item. How did I miss all this stuff? What the heck? What do I use to combine the chats on the multi-stream? It's called, let me get the name for you. It's a Google Chrome plugin. And it is called, where's the name of it? There's a new version available. Click this link. Oh, I just went and downloaded it. Social Stream Ninja. Here I can show, I think. Should be fine. Message process this session 14. Okay. So yeah, it's really good. It's very helpful. It allows you the flexibility to have a custom chat. So like you can do, like I use Restream to multi-stream anyway, and that comes with a package that like you can just automatically include that if you wanted to. But the problem is it doesn't integrate both chats, so they kind of look different. I mean, technically, there's an @ symbol on the YouTube chats, so like the YouTube chats look different anyway, but at the same time, they still look similar enough that it feels a bit more integrated to me. I don't know, I prefer it. I could probably remove the @ symbol, to be honest, but I'm not exactly sure how. It's very customizable. You can do a lot with it. Okay. Item, one item selected, item selected, item selected, shop item, item name, item selected, item selected to item. I think that's enough. Oh my god, I probably still have errors. Good old refactors. You love them. Like Okay, okay. We saw that, right? There was a visual feedback to tell you that you bought it. And also we still bought. Okay, so that answers my question. That still counts as an item selected, it just loses focus. So interestingly, and now you can't buy it. So what I want to do, this needs to be more visually clear. When you're buying something, when you can no longer afford it, when you don't have money, you don't know how much money you have. That's the issue. Right? The person with a name who I don't want to read out on stream. Welcome. How's it going? And so now I have 7 Fiend sodas, and I still have to, next week I guess we're working on how to actually use the items, but I feel like that's probably going to be, it's going to be item dependent on how they get used depending on what they do. We'll start off with simple ones, and we'll just when we think of items to have or whatever. Okay, so that kind of works. Now we need to we actually need to show the cash, how much money you have. Parameter node is null. Okay, VBox. Right, so where does that get displayed? Probably top right. Right. So we've got this margin container. So if it's within the margin container, it's probably in this description box. I could put it here. I could also put it next to the buy button. Because that is a HBox container. So I could just let's just be lazy and put a panel here. And within this panel, there will be a text direct. And a label. Okay. And the texture will have the credit symbol. Is this here? The text directs always go funny. Fit width proportional? Jesus. And then scale. So annoying. And then here we have money. Font size 32, I guess. It's fine. Okay, and then this also needs to be in an HBox. Everything always has to go in an HBox. Never orders correctly without it. Drives me crazy. And then for whatever reason, this actually doesn't fit because the panel doesn't have a size. This is a container. It should be shrink. It should be expand. It should be fill. What the hell? Shrink end. Shrink begin. And then if I expand it, it goes all the way. Swear to God. This is a child node of the container. Actually, yeah, what the hell? What's going on with the panel? It should fill. Full rect. Layout direction. Left to right, right to left. I mean, that doesn't really change much. I swear to God, UIs piss me off. Have a minimum size of 200. There we go. Why wouldn't the contents of the panel make it fill out? I don't understand. Doesn't make any sense to me. Sorry, I'm just stretching. It's early. It's 7 AM. Oh, the sun's coming through. It was supposed to rain today, but it's bright as fuck out there. I can tell. It makes me look darker for some reason. I don't know why. All right. Okay, so we got the money. Let's change the name of this. I guess we'll call it wallet. And what is this music actually? I forgot to check the playlist. Probably playing copyrighted music. Suspicious. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we've got the wallet label, we've got the symbol, which is fine. This is just a credit symbol. That's fine. Okay, so the wallet label. Now, this is pretty easy to do to get, because what we can do is when we make it visible. Okay, first of all, we need to get access to it. So let's just export buy button, wallet label. Here's the label. And we'll go here, we'll assign the label to the wallet label. And yeah, should be just updating that when we open the shop. So when we populate shop, or when we on shop show, we can say wallet label dot text is equal to game state dot player data dot credits, right? And then whenever we make a purchase, cannot assign variable to type string. Really? str. It's an integer. Of course it is. That makes sense. So that little piece of string there is pretty easy. And then we make a purchase. We also update the credits label. Okay, so that should be all we need to display that. And then when we can work on the layout of the UI. One of the good things about using export variables for UI is that you can change the layout of the UI later on and it won't affect the code, which makes things a lot easier. Okay, let's just get some funds up. We have 11 credits, right? And now we want to make a purchase, and we do, and it did not update the credit label. Okay, awesome. Okay, now it did. Wait, the first one was free? Okay, there's a bug. Wait, okay, let me get some cash. Let's just like farm these for a second. Just reload the scene. Okay, so we got 20, so we should be able to buy 4. How many do we have right now? We have 4, so we should be able to get to 8, right? So we'll... Yeah, I'm pretty... Oh, okay. I know what it is. We're doing it out of order. So I think we still got to 8, right? Yeah. So let's go back to the code, and here, pop this out. We are adding the item and spending the credits. So then we update the wallet label. We could do it with Signal too, but this is fine. This works. Let's not worry too much. Okay, so now we should be able to do it. The only thing then is, yeah, we got to move on to using the items, right? And also saving. So like, if I go back to this, we still have 2 now. So that's a problem. We need to store this data in the save file because we're not doing that right now. Also, I don't like the way that this sort of doesn't work to begin with. You know? Okay, so now when we hit buy, yeah, our number goes down. And we end up with 9 sodas. Okay. Easy. Okay, visually, things look like chopped, but you know, what can you do? It's early days. We don't want to dedicate too much time to the way it looks right now. We just want to make it work. Okay, so we can buy items. Now let's work at storing that information. So we need to make sure that we're keeping track of that. This is going to take place in the game state singleton, which is essentially like how the game runs. So you've got your game state, you've got your level, you've got your UI. So this is responsible for mostly just displaying the in-game menu and any other overlay, like we've got a debug menu here, energy acquired. These are normally hidden at ready. And then you've got your player user interface that is displayed. There's a couple of bugs with this system right now, and that is that the in-game menu can be displayed. So this probably needs to move to like the actual level themselves. I just needed to show that, have that scene show up in every single one. Yeah, okay, so yes. Where is the transitions? This is the transitions, right? Yeah, right, okay. I probably just need to work on the ordering. And then like you just keep the overlays here and then everything else in a lower layer. Because one of the reasons I actually even started doing this is because I wanted them to be ordered correctly, but I didn't know that you could just you could change the ordering in the visibility, I think. Yeah. So you can change the Z index and have them layer correctly regardless of where they sit in the scene tree. Okay, so because obviously the loading start screen is on this, because obviously this is where we do the loading and the saving. Okay, so saving is literally just another node that sits here, and when you save the game, like a signal is emitted to the game state to trigger this. So it's pretty easy, because that information is actually on the player data. We actually have access to it here, but what we are doing in order for like resources to save, it's kind of tricky. Like I could loop through each variable that I want to save and create a dictionary and then send it to the game state, but that's kind of annoying, so I just loop through the resource. However, resources we skip, because we can't really do anything with them anyway. You know what I mean? So this might actually be like, this might be pretty challenging, because the inventory is a set of resources. You know what I mean? The inventory is an array of resources. I'm curious to see how it behaves. Honestly. I probably just need to set, I mean, it's the quantity that matters, right? So if we just like are saving the path to the resource that it actually has, and then pulling that back up and remembering the quantity, we should be good. Okay, so when we save the data, we're getting all this information. Player data.get property list. We could probably just set up a separate function to like create that data. The rest of it is like, a lot of this stuff is just dictionaries, so it's not hard to save. Like if the inventory was just a dictionary, it'd be really easy. So I prefer to use dictionaries for most things, because then it's really easy to loop over and pass back. When you basically bring it back, that's the thing you need to consider. So at this point, we get the property list, player core data for I in dictionary. So we got player.core data, which is player data.get property list, and we loop over that. And if we see a resource, we skip it, which is why it's not getting saved. And then we assign that to all of this. So I wonder, I'm curious to see what the behavior is, to be honest. if we include that information. And what about when we load it in? Update player state data, string to vector, create profile, create profile. Where's load data? Player got core data, update player core data. So it's not that hard to bring it back in. You just use the set function and you pass in the data to the variant. Okay, so we can do this, I think. Well, let's just see. We're gonna need to save a new profile. Let's see what kind of bugs we encounter, essentially. Not the... So we go to open user data folder and go to profiles and then just delete that and then hit play and go new. Okay, so let's change some information about the player. We got 6 coins. We go over to the save machine, hit save. Everything is looking pretty normal. So let's have a look at that save data, see what it looks like to begin with. We need a JSON viewer. Online JSON viewer. And then we go to the profiles, we go here to the main save. Oh, it's never happy. See, it just is a resource number. So I don't think this is gonna work. It's not that simple. The player data, the inventory is just like a path to a temporary resource. Like you can't drill down into that. And then you've got weapon data as well and state data, which is, but when you read this back in, it's not going to do anything. So is the game still running? So if we bought something, and we changed our inventory to 5, and then we saved and came back. I don't think this will work. It's not that simple, right? It's still 2. I'm surprised it's just gonna pull up the default resource. We're gonna need a separate function. So strap in, because this is gonna be a dry one. Script, save game JSON. God damn, this is the kind of thing it would be nice if you could use config files or resource savers and loaders and stuff like that. It's such a bummer where you end up having to like sort this data out. So we'll go back to skipping this, and because like we'll need to set up dedicated save and load functions for this anyway. So this function is kind of long and confusing, and I think it would be better to create a separate function for this. What is the player core data? Player state data, player state data, player state save data dictionary. So what do we do with the core data? For I and core data, player core data dictionary. Okay. So we create a core data dictionary for like the health. This is basically everything in the player that's important. And we'll just need to create another dictionary. Yeah, we'll do it at the bottom. Discovery list. Inventory. List. As a dictionary. This is going to be real fun. I think as long as we're keeping the quantity, as long as we're like storing the quantity, we should be okay. Like we don't really need to know what the item is aside from like where the resource is located. But we'll see So within this save data, we actually want to go and create a function to return a dictionary. So create inventories to save. Inventory list. Inventory, can't spell. And it's going to take a inventory, which is an inventory. We actually know what that is. You can be aware of it. Okay, so for I in inventory, and then those are the keys. So do we want to just make it the path to each inventory item and then the quantity? Because an inventory looks like this. So inventory.items. So we've got like this dictionary here that we just need to like change the quantity of. Inventory.items. And we can say that the inventory list, we want to create a new list actually. New inventory. List is a dictionary, and it's equal to nothing. New inventory list. New inventory. Oh my god. And then the key, I guess, can be, because I is the resource, right? We could store the path to the resource. And have it be equal to the quantity. Inventory dot items. I. And that would build you up like a path to the resource that you need to populate it with. Right. Makes sense. And then we just return that. Return the inventory list. So obviously returns a dictionary. And so when we're doing our save data, we need to create a name for this piece, this chunk of data. And we'll do it after player location data. I guess we could just do it at the end, that's fine. Inventory data. This is just a string that you can use for the, we could just use the variable names, but I don't know, I'm not doing that. Don't capitalize it. This is for the JSON, so that we can know what they're called and come back to them later. Pull them up when we load the data. So then save data dictionary bracket inventory data is equal to create inventory list player data. Now, do we get a copy of this when we save, or do we just we use this player data? Player data dot inventory. We pass that in, create a new list, and that should be it on the save side of things. Now on the load side of things, we need to handle that. So on the load data, so we've got a bunch of like, yeah, load this up, load this up. For a lot of these, it's not that complicated. Data to load, it's just like you get access to the discovery list. Data to load.i. So we're looping through the JSON. So this the inventory data will be under inventory data. So we're matching I. Oh, where'd it go? So then we can say inventory list. These variables, where do they come from? I've forgotten. All right, so we create the dictionary on the load side. I see. Now, we don't really want this to be we don't really want this to be the same. We actually want to rebuild the inventory. So what we probably want to do is not use this variable and use something else. However, that's all we have right now. This gets sent back off to the game state. I don't really want to build it on the game state. I want to build it here. It is just a dictionary, so it can just be like an item list. Like we can make it the same on this end rather than, so we can create a function. It doesn't care, so we can load player inventory. The question will be, is it difficult to load up the resource on the load side? Because I have a path to it. And it's going to take a loaded inventory. I don't know. And that's just a dictionary. And it returns a dictionary. And we're going to convert these back to resources. So we can go, so for I in loaded inventory, it's like a burger. But new inventory. This is a dictionary that we're going to return. Okay. So for I, so this will be the path. So new inventory. Well, actually, we should say var item resource. And this is going to be an item. An inventory item? That's what it's made up of, right? Where'd it go? In the save data. An inventory is an inventory item and a quantity. Okay. So yeah, it will be an inventory item. And it will be equal to I dot, because I is a string, right? Doesn't know that for sure, but now it does. Dot load. So it's load I. And then it should just be that. Or is it resource loader? Resource loader dot load? Why is it so mean? Why is it just doing strings? What's it doing? Why is it doing that? Resource loader? Dot load? Does that just work? Resource loader? A singleton used to load resources. It uses a resource loader format. It can classes register in the engine, either built in from a plugin to load files into memory and convert them to a format that can be used by the engine. You have to import the files into the engine first, using load if you want to load images. Run, yeah, okay, we know that. Non-resource files such as plain text cannot be read using the resource loader. Use file access instead. Okay, load. And now I just want to path, and I'll pass in I think. Convert text to binary is true. Cannot be able to. It could just be load. I'm not too sure. We'll see. And so then I will be. Sorry, new inventory. I So item resource equals load inventory brackets I, right? So then you get the quantity, and then you return that new inventory. So now we can say inventory list is equal to load player inventory, and we pass in I, right? That's because you get the dictionary here, and then on the player data here, we pass this back as player inventory. Is it just called inventory? It'll need to know. I have to check inventory list. No, inventory. Inventory list. It might be a problem because we're passing the player data back. We have access to the player data. So we could just say inventory list is equal to player that, and then we can just say player data underscore player data dot inventory is equal to inventory list. And that way it's already in the player data. It'll be assigned to type inventory. Oh. Dot item inventory. No, player data dot inventory dot items plural equals inventory list. There you go. Something like that. And then you could even just put that there and then delete that. All right, moment of truth. How much did we break? Let's delete the save file. You can't make changes to save files on the fly. You have to reload everything. You have to delete all your saves. I haven't figured out a way around that yet. I'll probably need to do some research so that if I do add data, it doesn't break. New game. Okay, let's change our inventory. Well, let's save our game. Nothing broke. Okay. Let's buy some Fiend Soda. We have 6. Let's save. Have a look at our data that we're putting aside. Our main save here. We'll encrypt this at some point. Not that it matters, it's not super important. It depends on your game. This particular game, it's not important at all. We can definitely let people share and change this information. It's fine. It's on viewer. Encounter list, inventory list. Okay. So we're definitely, oh, lovely ad. Close. We can see that we are storing the, oh, okay. So this, I don't think is very good. This is the path. I don't know. I guess we'll see when we try to load back up. Like, I feel like this is not going to work. But we are storing the quantity and the path to that. So let's have a look. Let's close the game and see how we go loading it back up. It's going to crash. Invalid access to property inventory on base object of type nil. So that's actually pretty funny. The player data doesn't exist yet, which is kind of crazy to think because I thought we loaded up a dummy player data, but I guess we don't do that here. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, what the hell? Just do me so dirty. Ugh, fuck off. Chat getting lost. Okay. So, yes and no. I guess I didn't realize the player data doesn't exist. I thought it did. So that's fine. We can fix that. But we're passing the player data here. So what are we doing? If it doesn't exist at this point, then why are we including it in the dictionary? update player core data? Or is it just that the player core data doesn't have an inventory? We can create an inventory, right? Like, yeah, that would actually be easier than resource load to load. Like, genuinely. We still need to know the item resource. But rather than creating a new dictionary, we can actually return an item, an inventory list, and then assign it to the player data, right? Update core player data, and then we update the core player data. I guess the player data is the player data null, or is it that there's no inventory in the player data that we're creating? Because we basically recreate the entire thing when we run the game. It's not the right button to press. Yeah, player data is null. Interesting. Data to load. Discovery list. Playtime. Player data. Dictionary. Okay. What about underscore player data? It's also null. That's weird. Okay, that's fine. We'll just go around that. We'll just create a new inventory item and pass it back through to the game state, because if it doesn't exist, it doesn't really matter if it doesn't exist here. It just okay, so I think that's fine. We don't, instead of going here, we can just go inventory list, right? Load player inventory I, and then we pass that here, and then we return the player data, which is a dictionary. And that goes to the game state, I believe. It ingests the data that comes back from the save. So if we go back to the game state, we have ingest load data. So let's see here. Ingest load data, var data, save game from profile. So we get the data back and then we just set. So this is an interesting one because obviously the item here is not like super, we don't have like a corresponding variable here. We could have an inventory list as a dictionary. And then just assign that to the player data. Or we can, it returns null. I don't think this breaks. Like if that doesn't exist, that's fine. We can also just set, like we can just say like, how many scenes and scripts do you have? Oh, so many. So many scripts, look at them all. They're just never ending. Like a script for, oh well, that's like turns into documentation, but there's like everything has its own script. You've all got your own, like, I try to keep things as separate as possible. So there's not too much of recycling scripts unless like, obviously the enemies all share like an enemy script. The boss has like a boss and a boss AI script. Encounters, you know, like stuff like that obviously is replaceable, but then like if you've got a new thing, like we're doing inventory, so like everything is like, okay, the shop item, the inventory item, the actual inventory itself, everything has like a separate script, and it just like, yeah. And then in terms of scenes, I don't even know, equally as many. Okay, so we can just say here, the player data definitely exists. It's really cool and complex. It's going to get more complex, I feel. Player data.inventory.items is equal to, and then we can go data square brackets, and I believe it's inventory list. Let's see if we break it here instead. Get one step closer. Okay, let's close that and hit play. Aha. Inventory list. Yeah, invalid type function load player inventory in base node Java and JSON server cannot convert one argument to string dictionary. What the hell? Okay, what is I? Is just the name inventory list? Huh? Data to load I. That's what I've done wrong. Rerun. I know. Okay, one step further. Okay, here we go. Invalid access to inventory list on base type property dictionary. I have probably spelled inventory wrong. So the data is inventory. It's just called inventory. There you go. With a capital? Really? Okay, that I definitely want to change. I'm fine with it just being called inventory. Lowercase though. Okay. That should be the third bug from just my bad skills. And here we go. Player data.inventory.items data inventory. Invalid assignment. The items of type dictionary on base object of resource inventory. Okay, so this is interesting. What have we created here? We have access. These are objects. So why wouldn't it take it? Inventory.items. Invalid assignment or key items with value type dictionary on base object resource inventory. I should probably create a function. It's literally like, I'm pretty sure it's not accepting it because the items dictionary is typed. How long have I been using Godot? 5 years? 5 years. Since 2020, I picked it up in, I picked it up full time. I had experimented with it prior to 2020, but during COVID, I had like a day, I was only working 4 days a week. And on that Friday that I wasn't working, I was learning how to make games. Now I do it in the mornings because I work now. Okay. Player data, inventory items. Okay, yeah, we do need to make a function for this because it's not going to be happy. Typing always trips me up because... Does it keep doing this? Like, I set the group and it doesn't accept it. You know what I mean? Also, I should set it to live chat. Is it because... I don't know. Actually, okay. So, inventory. Load inventory data, and it just takes a items to load, which is a dictionary. Random person is Earth, welcome to the stream. How's it going? Okay, so we got a dictionary here, and this one is not typed, so it won't be shitty. And then we can just say items. 4 items to load, and then we can say items, and this is just an unsafe function, which is fine. Items dot for I in items. I've just forgotten a bunch of stuff. For I in items, items I equals item I. If I do that, that's the key, that's fine, and then this needs to be items to load.i. Loop through and just assign them because like it doesn't like the typing on the just trying to assign it directly to the items dictionary. I think that's why. Let's see this. Okay, let's go back to not save game, but JSON state. So inventory, and then we can just say dot load inventory data, and then we can pass in this bit of data. Okay, I always knew that loading the player inventory was going to be a bit tricky because it's just different from the rest of it. Close that and rerun. Okay, so here we are. We have 6. Okay, so it's loading back up. That's great. So now I should be able to just farm up some cash. Got some breakable objects that emit cash, which is handy. Okay, so I can buy 4. I don't know, they're $5. Yeah, I can buy 4. And so now I have 10, and then we can go over to the save machine, hit the save, and then if we run the game, we should come back and we should still have 10. And we do. Okay, great. Easy. Or not so easy. All right. That was actually not so bad. That really didn't take that long. Could have been worse, honestly. Okay, so now we need to use the items. Realistically, it's not really like, obviously the visuals and everything need a complete overhaul at some point, but like it's functional, it works, so we can focus on gameplay. But like obviously you want to be able to use the items. Now I kind of want it to be more like a hotkey, but I don't know exactly how I'm going to achieve that. It's going to be a fun one, and probably in the player user interface. But like we can just sort of like create the infrastructure around being able to use these items. So I guess for like the inventory, we've got an icon. We've got where is the item? Inventory item is got like a function called onUse, which I guess I have to figure out. Like, and then like that can go off and do whatever it needs to do. You know what I mean? That probably makes the most sense. I must part now. Have a good one. I need to go to the toilet. I don't have like a be back soon. I have a be back soon scene, so I'm just gonna play a video, I guess. I'll play a video. Play one of mine. I won't be gone for more than 10 minutes, so you only get to watch part of it. The mornings are always great, aren't they? I'll play this because no one ever watches my videos anymore. It happens. Don't go full screen. Dude, what is the quality? YouTube. Alright. Gotta love Saturday mornings. Exploring every nook and cranny, trying to experience every boss fight, just to revel in the combat one more time, trying to find every last secret to get one more power up, attempting to rescue every cute flea you can find, but not that guy though. For me, Hollow Knight Silksong is one of those games. The art, the music, the cute little bugs you meet, but plenty of bigger, more expensive games all have these qualities and still don't draw me in like Silksong did. So what makes Silksong better than your average AAA game? Can you distill that feeling down into one single thing? Perhaps it's the combat, the platforming, the exploration, the lore. Do you ever wish you could figure out what that was and use it to create something of your own? Because that's what I've been working on for the last few months. I want to be able to capture that same feeling that I get from Hollow Knight Silksong, to be able to craft an experience that people will want to play over and over. Even if I could gain a sliver of that greatness, I think it would be good enough for me. So where can we start? In my opinion, there are three main things that make this game great: the movement, the combat, and the boss encounters. Everything else is icing. The thing that makes this game so compelling to so many people is between these three things. So let's take a closer look. Hornet's movement set is one of the best I've ever seen. It's miles ahead of the previous game and light years ahead of anyone else in the genre. It just feels so amazing to play. The only time I ever felt like Hornet wasn't doing what I wanted was when my Dan PS5 controller seemed to fall out of sync with my PC. But other than the equipment I'm using, I cannot fault it at all. I know a lot of people weren't a fan of diagonal pogo, but goddamn, does it feel good to pull it off. What makes the system even better is that it's interchangeable. Not only is the movement amazing, it's that you can find certain crests throughout the game that will make small changes to the way that you move and fight. I'm a filthy Wanderer crest user myself, which allows me to move and fight at an even faster pace than the base crest. But it's not just the pogo that's interesting. The dash, the wall jump, the claw line, the silk saw all combine together to make such a versatile character that feels so good to play. So how can you create something like this? Well, the very first step is to create a character controller. It's the thing that the player moves around your level. The Hornet, or the Knight, or Samus, or the Master Chief in an FPS. Here we have my controller, and he's definitely not Mega Man, okay? We'll call him legally distinct Arm Cannon Man. At this stage, the art is not so important. We just need something to look at as we move around. I've already added the basics like run and jump, and if you watch the streams, you know early on this year, I spent a few streams during a cyclone that somehow my internet survived through, studying the dash, which I determined is just a jump but sideways, which we've added in here and I think looks really good. You might think that in order to have such a diverse moveset like Hornet, you would need a lot of code, but in reality, we just need one thing: the state machine. This entire thing is run with a state machine, which if you're ever looking to create a game, you absolutely have to use for these kinds of player controllers. You cannot have the level of fine control without one. If you want to learn, check the link in the description. I have plenty of videos covering the topic. This allows you to trigger different events depending on the state you're in, the player's input at the time, and the surroundings. For example, the jump on the ground versus in the air versus on the wall. The same input triggering different actions depending on the state, without a gigantic if statement. You see, if you're in the wall slide state, you only need to know that the next state after you hit the jump button is the wall jump. You don't need to run any additional checks, which makes creating a complex moveset so much easier. There's still a ton to do with the controller itself. We've got what I would call the baseline for any Metroidvania. We've got jump, double jump, dash, wall jump, ledge grab. These are universally found in a lot of these types of games. And I'm not going to add the claw line or the silk saw. I want to see if I can come up with some unique abilities on my own. We're trying to capture the fun, not clone it entirely. So I'm leaving anything too distinct out. Next, we have to look at the combat. What makes Silksong's combat maybe the best I've ever seen in a Metroidvania? It's smooth, customizable, and makes you feel like an absolute badass, but also will punish the ever-living heck out of you for making any kind of mistake. But the number one thing that I absolutely love about the combat is that even though it's incredibly punishing, it's also incredibly predictable. The more you play, the better you start to become. You start to recognize the tells that each enemy are making before they make their move, the locations, their behaviors. The crest system also gives an added layer of customizability as well. You can be fast and aggressive, or you can be slow and methodical, allowing for an array of different playstyles. Personally, I like the faster style, which allows me to generate a lot of silk very quickly, which allows me to heal more often. Silk is a resource that you can use for healing or spells, by the way, which I actually think is a really overlooked aspect. The silk generation for healing is actually such a nice mechanic for a Metroidvania. As a part of my research for this project, I've been playing a lot of other Metroidvania games. I played the original Metroids on SNES and GBA, and to be honest, those games aren't difficult enough to warrant such a mechanic, but another game I played, Axiom Verge, which I still really enjoyed, but it adopted a similar mechanic as Metroid, where enemies drop health from time to time, but instead it just gave you less health drops and less health, and I think it actually suffered quite a bit because of that. Because you can save yourself in Silksong, you can keep exploring almost indefinitely, as long as you're good enough, with the exception of Bilewater. Fuck that place. When compared to Metroid, where your health just becomes so large that nothing is really a threat anymore, Silksong is able to keep the threat of becoming overwhelmed up while still giving you a way to keep going forever. I think replicating this feeling is going to be the hardest thing to capture. I want to go for projectile combat, which is going to completely change the dynamic. The idea of combos become a little bit more challenging. The parry from Metroid is not a bad idea, but I don't ever feel strong when playing Metroid. There's no feeling of power. I'm also a big sucker for abilities, so I'll explore that at some point to see if we can find something there. Right now, I'm more interested in creating a roster of enemies for the player to fight. We have all the basics, like the crawler and the floater enemies, all set up, and we can use our cannon to fight them. We've got all the components set up. So creating new enemies is really about being able to come up with ideas for enemies. Let me know if you have any down below. The combat in Silksong is amazing, but you also have to remember that the boss design is peak.
Boss design is the best. Okay. Dude, I get so lost. All my tabs. I'm not a huge fan of this mixed track. Want something more upbeat? Hyrule Cafe? Attack of the Killer Queen? Deltarune. Was that Hollow Knight? Yes, it was. I thought somehow I did not actually get to the live at first. No, yeah, sorry, I was just taking a break. Hey, Kira. Welcome to the stream, by the way. Okay. Okay, so on use, this is the sort of like challenging thing to sort of set up now. Now that we've got our ability to save, we actually need to like use the inventory item. We're a little bit, probably this, rather than be in, well, I mean, we will need something in the item to tell us what to do with it. This is going to be different for each item. The shop, not the shop, we're done with the shop. Shop is dead. Back to the inventory menu. Not even, yeah, inventory menu, I suppose. We are going to need like a floating menu. I don't know, actually, it's a really, I need to do some studying on UI because I'm so bad at it. Let's go back to 2D. What kind of game are we making? What kind of game are we making?
A Metroidvania. It's very early days, and we don't have too much in art or stories, but we're building up the basics. Here's a quick recap.
It's a Metroidvania. I have like a little intro that I play at the start of the stream. Yeah, so what we are doing right now is trying to get the inventory. I was going to answer, but I was too slow. we're trying to get the inventory system up and running. So right now we have, we've just like as of like 15 minutes ago, we're able to save and load the inventory. So essentially, we can have items in the inventory. We can purchase more. I'm actually kind of curious. You know, something I've never tested this entire time that we set up the shop is buying new items. We've just been adding feed and sodas to our inventory, but there's another item in here that costs $10 called a battery pack, which is meant to recharge your energy. And it crashes. Because I'm plus equal, which doesn't work because it doesn't exist. So I need to add a check for that. I had a feeling. Yeah, where'd the script go? So, add item. So if items dot has item, we can just add quantity. Else, I mean, we're still going to need to, rather than add it, we just like set it. Items dot bracket item equals quantity, and then we update the inventory. We just do this at the end of the function instead. What's this song? Sonic and Shell? Okay. Game Chops. As long as it's still Game Chops. I'm really paranoid. I'm trying a new way to play music and it's like I'm worried. Close that off. Okay. Let's try that again. Get some cash, get our money up, not our funny up, and buy. Okay, hey, look at that. Now we can buy battery packs. Easy, and if we save and close and start again, I'm sure it'll show up. And it does. Great. I love it when things work. Okay, so now we need to figure out what we do on use. So like, there's gonna be, that's the thing, right? Like, there's gonna be different things, like reliquify is meant to send you back to the last place you saved. That's what it's supposed to do. I don't know if I'll keep it. It's just a fun thing that I thought of on the spot. I was like, I need some items to test with so that I can create a system so that if I think of stuff, I can add it. So let's say that's supposed to send you back to the save state. This is supposed to make you get more energy. Like if you're down on energy and you desperately need some more because you can't kill enemies, maybe they're too hard to kill or something like that, you're struggling, you can add some energy so you can heal or use abilities or whatever. And then there's like the energy drink, which I guess in theory would make you move faster. Like there's 3 different things with all varying different levels of effects, right? So one of these, we just need to add more energy to it. It's pretty easy. The other one, that's like actually pretty challenging. Like I don't know where you would put this, you know what I mean? And then Fiend Soda is also like a status change, which I don't even know if I can accommodate. You know what I mean? So it's pretty tough. We'll have to have a look. Which is why I think a callable is the best option. It's just like, where do you do the callable? We could emit a signal with a callable. I think it's probably the easiest thing to do. So in the inventory menu, I guess you have like the ability to on use. So we've got this horrible looking menu, right? It just looks bad here, but trust me, it's fine. Like it works in engine. It works when the game is running, it looks normal. I don't know why it looks like this right now. This is a V-Box? Is that right? Yes, it is. Is it just not? Feel like that. Man. I hate UI. I genuinely do not like working with it. I guess you need it though. You need to get good at it too, because otherwise everything is wrecked. Right, so we need to have like a button, essentially. It's the inventory item and the inventory container. Ooh, this is going to be fun. Where is the best place for this? So we've got show inventory, clear inventory. Build inventory. We could... I thought I missed stream for a second.
I missed stream for a second.
Ah, dude, I'm still here. It's the weekend. I don't need to end at 8 o'clock like normal. So we can still roll. Yeah, I don't know actually. Like, I don't plan to use the mouse. So we can have like a little floating panel. It's like use, drop. We should have like a way to pick up items if they drop. Add that to the list of things to do. But how do you use them? Oh my god. Is it going to be the icon that determines, like, we're going to call use on the icon, or are we going to call use on the inventory item? Deltarune banger. Oh man, this is, I don't know, like I'm trying to think, the reason I'm hesitating so much is because I'm thinking about the structure of the scene and what's best to make it work. Like a floating panel probably makes the most sense. And then I can set the position based on like, and then make it show, so I can create a panel. Right, this will just be like a action panel, we'll call it action panel. And it's just going to be a V-Box with a bunch of options in it, with a bunch of buttons. So we obviously have like use, we might have drop, and then we might have cancel. Something like that. No, I've done all caps for 2 of them, but not 1. I think we'll do lowercase. Okay. Itchy. Alright. Must be raining outside, eh? Lighting's fixed itself. It's no longer bright and orange. So this, we can just say, like, go wherever. I guess it's still within this, like... It's in... Yeah, that's... Visibility. If I make it top level, we'll just float around. I'll make the inventory a control. I don't think it really matters. I don't know, I'll probably break a bunch of stuff here. Make scene route. Inventory menu.
Has the dog been a good girl?
Slide capture. She's not sleeping on her bed fully. That's like, that's points. Like, she shouldn't do that. Should get in trouble for that. I need to get the collar zapper out like all the other streamers do. Zap her back onto her bed. But no. The other reason is not because like it's gross. I won't go into details about why, but it's gross. That's it. She's an old girl dog. She's safe now. We have tiles, so it's not a big deal. She has an accident, but it's better if I don't have to clean it up. I see her. She's got her head on the ground. It's hot. I don't blame her. Okay, let's go back. Okay, everything is broken. Why? I was gonna. Why is this like this? What? Okay, genuinely. There we go. UI, man. Now this won't be like subject to the panel. So they should be able to move around the screen like a lot better. However, I don't know how much this is going to affect the other functions. I think this script needs to be moved up. Oh, it's 24 degrees. In the office, I actually brought in the temperature meter. It is 29 degrees inside the office, yeah, but it's 24 degrees outside. It's hot. You have like a closed room with a computer running. The temperature goes up. Okay, so now this panel can sort of just float around. Panels are really starting to tick me off. Change type to a flow container. A vFlow container. So, like, why doesn't it take the size of the contents? Can I eat them? Honestly, it would probably be a better use of like, why wouldn't this just automatically take the container size? Oh, like a margin container. And then stick this inside the margin container. Oh, great. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. Why? It's a fucking change content, change type. I hate. Dude, it pisses me off so much. Theme overrides, constant, make it like 5 pixels. But like the panel is still in itself, you know what I mean? Let's change its position so we can see it. Like, why is the size of the panel not automatically filling up the... Am I using the wrong type? This should just be like a different thing. A panel container. Bearded friends, welcome to the chat. welcome, became a member, level investor. Hell yeah, dude. Thank you so much. Notifications that YouTube give are so confusing. Welcome, welcome. Okay, that looks better. Maybe I should have used panel container, not panel. Now I'm learning. Okay. Should I change all my panels to panel containers?
Us honk.
Honk honk. Okay. Anyway, this can be hidden, right? And this script, I think, needs to move up, which is going to be fun. So what does this entail? Honestly, not that much. So we'll need to, you know, store what's selected. And then when you hit like a button, like remember that, set its position. So let me see what I've broken and then just fix it and we'll go from there. Non-existent function, show inventory and base now. Okay, so it does need to be on the parent script. So delete that and then just actually don't, because I don't even know where it is. In-game inventory menu. Inventory menu. Is it spelled wrong? Yep. I don't know why, but I forgot the N on so much. Even this menu is not spelt correctly. Where's the script? Oh, there it is. Like, where is it? It's on the other screen. Extends control instead. I don't think that's going to change anything, except for the fact that it can't be on that. And then we go item name label, which is that, item description label, inventory container, and that is this inventory container. Okay, great. So that really should be the extent of the change necessary to make that work. And that is correct. Okay. Did you end up keeping the 3D platforms? They're in a separate project, so I don't, like, obviously, like, visuals are pretty far way off. I was sort of just experimenting with it, experimenting with it just to see, like, what I can do to, like, make the game sort of stand out visually from, like, other titles in the same kind of genre. And having like that low poly, sort of, it's almost like a PSX kind of look you could do with a shader or something like that. It's very easy to automate because we are just reading from the grid map, and like we can construct it in 5 seconds, you know? As long as we create the tiles, that's the challenge, right? Like placing them is trivial, but like creating artwork for all of these tiles is going to be a whole other thing. You know what I mean? But I think it gives it like a pretty fun look. There's a couple of considerations. Obviously here you can see like the secret really easily. So I need to make that like more obvious or less obvious. And then obviously grid map, you like it? That's good. The grid map has its disadvantages as well. Like you can occasionally see breaks in the grid map, which is a bit annoying, but it'll make it really easy to give a parallax effect. Oh, there's a door there, I forget. Fake door. So it will have like a parallax effect. I don't have my pet bot, I'm going out. Oh well, see you later. And you can change like how deep it looks and everything like that. I got the idea from Castlevania. Castlevania on the DS does a really similar thing. Not with the entire scene. Is it called Aria of Sorrow? Castlevania DS Aria of Sorrow? Aria of Sorrow. I just noticed a 2.5D background, yeah. Videos. Area, sorry, entrance. Snow background. Entrance and chapel. I'm trying to find like a video to show the effect because you can't really like see it if I just show you a picture. Oh no.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you? It's Dawn of Sorrow. Well, someone's got a Let's Play here. Okay. And oh my god, the bitrate. Anyway, you can see in this game on the DS, they've got like a 3D background. Damn, this is old. How old is this? Oh, it's only 3 months ago. Okay. Well, anyway, thank you, Mick Chan, for even uploading this. And like it's a 3D background, and I was like, that's sick. I reckon I could do that. Like in Godot, this kind of thing is pretty trivial to do, loading up a 3D background. There are challenges, of course. You're going to run into issues with the lighting. So in this game, they don't do it when you're indoors. It's just a separate layout, I'd say. Like, it's not 3D. I don't know how the engine works for this particular game, but go outside again. But yeah, for the outdoor backgrounds, they're 3D, and I think that looks really cool. So at the very least, I will do it for like if you're outside in the snow. Because I think that's fun. Also, like the cars in this game are really cool. There's a lot of physics and stuff that they've put in. This is sort of like peak 2D pixel, right? Because these games were made in the late 2000s. So at that point, like pixel games had, like that's like, you didn't really see them in the mainstream. It was mostly just in handhelds. Obviously now they've had like a resurgence with like indie games and stuff like that. But like having them on PCs and mainstream consoles was kind of rare. When did this come out? Dawn of Sorrow. 2004? I didn't realize there was multiple Castlevania games. I think there's 3. There's like you can buy it on Steam. When did this come? 2005. Okay, so not far off. Yeah, 2005. So it's like, yeah, it's peak pixel handheld. I kind of want to get the collection on Steam. Castlevania Dominus collection. Dominus. I don't know how to spell Vania. Oh, I spelled castle wrong. I'm probably Castlevania. And it's 1N, IA Dominus. A new Portrait of Ruin for the DS, and that was it. I think there's at least 3. We don't want the sound. Dominus plus Dead Cells. Dominus collection. What does it say? Three action adventure games. Haunted Castle, Dawn of Sorrow, Portrait of Ruin, and Order of Ecclesia. Mild nudity, okay. I really like the Game Boy Advance games as well. I haven't played the DS games. I had a DS when I was a kid, I just didn't play them. So yeah, there's something in the back pocket for visuals. I think it's a really fun effect. It's relatively easy to put together. It's the art that's going to be the challenge and whether or not I want to do that. It's going to be probably easier to create variation than it would be with pixel art, I would say. And also you get free parallax, which is kind of nice. Parallax without having to think about it is always good. But anyway, back to the boring stuff. Gerudo Valley. Now that is a track. It's like a slow version. I kind of like the fast version better. Okay, so... Right, so now everything is displaying correctly. That's great. What we need to do now is essentially do like an action key. So like, I can make it right click. I don't really want to make it right click, but like, I guess it would be like the confirm button, which I think is Z, like whatever jump is. Z. And then also, so we need to do like an export var action panel, I guess we'll just call it that, and it's a panel container. And then hit save on that, and then let's get access to it, action panel. And essentially what we're going to do is we can scan the input. So we can go func, input, event, and we can say if input event, if event dot is action pressed jump. I need to change the name of that. Then what we can do is we can say action panel dot hold. We also want to check that if item selected, do we store item selected? We don't. Okay, so let's pass. We do need to store that item selected, and I guess it will be an item shop item icon, an item icon. What are these? Item name label, inventory item. Okay. So when we show inventory, clear inventory. Okay, so we don't on item focused item, we can say item selected equals item. Inventory icon versus inventory icon. We need it to be the icon. This is the same problem we had with the... Yeah, that's too loud. We had the same problem with the shop, where we were passing back the inventory item, but like realistically, we need to know the icon, because we need to do like visual things to it. So we need to go to the inventory icon, and when we select, we emit the item, but we just emit ourself instead. And here we can say that the item focus selected is emitting. Okay. On item, this is the inventory icon. And now, I'm just going to change the name of this. Item icon, item selected, item selection, item icon dot item. So that we can basically just do that. Okay. Easy peasy. Okay. Okay. Now we can say the position of the action key. So the action panel dot position is equal to the item selection dot position, and we'll work out like some kind of offset. probably, plus like offset. Offset, if I can't spell, man. Vector 2, and it's going to be equal to a vector 2 of like, I don't know, like 10 on the X. That's fine for now. Item plus offset. I don't know if that's enough. Action panel offset. Okay. And then action panel. Action panel.show. And then honestly, like if we on item focus, right? If I want to say, if item icon is equal to item selection, then we can return out of this. Otherwise, we actually want to hide the action panel. So if you go across to the next one, action panel.hide. And then, yeah, that is for now. Let's just test a little bit. So we've got, I can't select the one in the middle. Okay. The position is incorrect. Huh. I wonder, do I need to use global position? It is working, I guess. Try again. Close. Right, okay, that's interesting. Is that why would it show up there? This inventory is so chopped. Because then you hit use, drop, cancel, and it like comes on focus. I don't like that, but is there a better way to get like a position, like the absolute position of a UI? Item name label? That's probably why. Jesus. So stupid. There we go. Now it's showing right up on top, which is not ideal, but it's pretty much what we want. UI is my enemy. See this? This is not right. This position. If we set its anchor, should be .5. Also, how much? So if it's being sent to the center, That doesn't really change. Anchor presets. Aha. So anchor is in the center, and then 10, I suspect is not enough. So we're going to want... Oh God. What? Like 100? I guess how big are these? They have like minimum size 96. Okay, so that should be our offset. So it shows up next to it. Save that. Pretty much exactly what I want. So it shows up next to the thing. Yeah. Except how do you use it? You have to give focus to the use button. Alright, that's fine. We need use drop cancel. So if we cancel, it hides. If we use, we can emit a signal. Let's add a script to the action panel and handle this stuff. Sub menus. We go to scripts. And menus. In-game menu, I guess. Action panel. Okay. Create. And then the signals. Signals. Button pressed. Where did I admit that to? Disconnect. I want to keep it all in the action panel so that if I want to use it for something else, I can. Or if I want to move it around and change the way things work. So we're going to keep the signals emitting to the action panel script, and then we'll just forward that signal onto the inventory menu. On button 2 pressed, on button 3 pressed. I guess we'll just call this one confirm. Drop and cancel. How do I change these? One button pressed. Change it to confirm pressed. One drop, 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 and drop pressed. And then on cancel quest pressed. Connect. Okay, sweet. So, pretty straightforward for these. We're just going to create a bunch of signals. Use signal. I was changing that to confirm because I don't know if I want to reuse this. I'm trying to keep things open. Drop is fairly specific, so that kind of goes out the window there. And then signal. Cancel. We're just going to re-emit these signals for now. There's nothing to do right now. Confirm.emit. But I just want to maybe keep this separate. I don't know. I'm trying to be cautious. And then in the ready function, we can actually just connect these programmatically. So we could say action panel dot, we need to create functions first. Function on item used. And it doesn't take any variables. Void, and we'll say func item selected. So we can say if item selection. I would say if not, and then return. We heard the song already. I'll let it run again because I like it. Okay. And then, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to do something there. Fuck. On item cancel. Drop. Void. And then same thing. If not item selection, we'd break out of that. On item on cancel. And this one's pretty easy. We can say action panel.hide. Right? That's it. On item drop, I don't know yet. On use, we still have not a way to do that. So. The action panel doesn't go away. That's so funny. Am I emitting those signals? I never connected them. That's what I forgot. Silly action panel dot. What is it called? It's not even a class. Action panel. What's that? Oh, class name. And then here, rather than being a panel container, it's an action panel. Probably going to break a couple of things. That's all right. Fiend soda. Yeah. Become a fiend. Have you had a chance to read the description? In and out because I'm trying to work also, but that caught my eye. Yeah. Bean soda. Where is the item? The game's not going to run right now. Sometimes you need a boost. Throw away your humanity and become a fiend. Side effects include never being able to sleep again, becoming an actual fiend. I thought it would be fun. Like, say if you like drank 10 of these, then you like turn into a monster and die and get a game over or something like that. A sofa. Oh, sofa. Soda. I read yours wrong. My brain just auto-corrected what you wrote. That's funny. Love it. Item confirmed, not declared. It's on item, yes. So basically it's Mountain Dew. Do they have like an energy drink that they might, I haven't seen it in the shops. They might not sell it here. We only have like Monster, Mother, Rockstar, Red Bull, V. Those are the main ones, I guess. The short-lived surge. That's better. Nothing happens if you press use. That's okay. We're about to figure that out. Okay, so what happens when you use? What should happen? We have a button to press to activate something. There was one called cocaine here for a while. Holy shit. Damn, that's crazy. Although I would have loved that as a kid. So when you use an item, the item has a function called on-item use. So obviously we want to reduce the quantity, right? So first of all, so we can say, now how do we get to this? So how are we even populating this to begin with? We are getting past an inventory, right? So we probably want to emit a signal. Is probably the best way to do it. So we can create a signal. Because we don't have access to the inventory. So it's probably easier. Signal manager. Is this another Deltarune song? I'm liking it. Undertale remixed. I gotta play those games, eh? On inventory used. And it will be an item. I guess I will change this to inventory item use. That's a bit clearer. And then we can say that the item is an inventory item, I believe, is what the inventory actually stores. It does. So then we can remove an item. This doesn't have a check, I just realized as well. It should probably make sure that if items dot has and then key item and then let's say if not, we'll do a negative turn out of this. I'll probably get claimed for this, eh? I don't know. I've been claimed for Undertale stuff before, or Deltarune, I should say. Okay, so the signal manager on inventory item use. So in the inventory itself, we can actually have a signal connection. Now, there's no ready. How do we connect a signal to a resource? I guess it has to go on the player, right? There's not really like any other option. No. Can you connect signals to resources? I've never tried before. Shall we give it a go? On inventory updated dot connect, and the callable is inventory player data dot inventory dot remove item. It seems to accept. Oh, Angie's having a dream. I'm making a isolated capture. Not doing it anymore. She was having a little episode. Okay, yeah, so we remove item here. And then we can emit that signal. So signal on inventory updated in the menu, inventory menu. So here, on item used, we can say we're going to need to go item selection. I guess we can say signal. What do we need to do here? Signal manager dot on item used dot emit. And then the argument, which is the item selection dot item. All right, which is an inventory item, so that's the correct thing. Now, that only helps us reduce the inventory. I don't know if that's going to update the number automatically because we have inventory updated, which is connected to build inventory. So inventory updated on item used. Let's go to the inventory. Inventory item. No. Inventory menu. Inventory GDA. So when we remove an item, we do update the inventory. So theoretically, that should flow through. I don't think it's going to look very good. But let's see. It should just reduce the number. It doesn't do anything else. You just lose an item. Or it'll crash. Could do that too. Okay, we have 10. It's not very readable. So we're able to click the button. Okay, we got errors or something? Nothing's happening. So the number isn't going down. Makes me wonder if it's even getting to the inventory. Because I was questioning if this even really works. Okay, so if not items, let's just go remove item and double check on the player that I'm connecting that to the right function. Remove item. On inventory updated connect. It could also be that, you know what? Like, it probably isn't the same inventory because when we load the game, we're setting the inventory. Like the player data gets replaced. So some of this stuff doesn't really even make sense, to be honest. But let's connect. Let's put it in both, just for like new game's sake. At the initialized player. Okay. But we have to have it in both. Okay, still nothing. It's not triggering the... It's not triggering the signal, the breakpoint. So I would say that we're definitely missing something. So there's a couple of things we can try. We can try putting this in a function on the player to see if we get a better result. Let's double check in the inventory. Mega Man Metroidvania is looking good. Thank you, Mr. Sparkle. We are making some slow progress. Inventory item used. Item selection dot item. One item used. If not item selection? Are we even making it this far? Are we calling the signal? Let's have a look. I don't know. Yes. Okay, yes. The answer is yes. And then this goes to... No, that's not what I wanted to do. Hit use. And then we can step into, right? step over, step into. So this goes nowhere, I guess. Okay. Is event press show debug? Okay, so I'm guessing then we're not connecting things properly. So what I'll do to get around that, because the way that the game handles the data can be a little bit tricky sometimes, like, yeah, I might not be connecting this signal to the correct inventory resource, you know what I mean? Okay, the play game just got moved over to the other screen for some reason. Ripped editor. So this may be no good. And what I can do instead is create a function called on inventory used, and we can take in it's an item, right? Which is an inventory item, and it's going to return void. And here we can just say player data dot inventory dot remove item, and then pass in that item. I saw someone explain solo game dev as climbing a mountain of unknown height only to discover the top of endless mountains of unknown height. Yo, that's like actually legit. Yeah. It is a bit like that. It's never ending. Yeah. Okay, so remove item, remove item expected at least 1 but received 2. Yeah. Oh, is that what it is? We need a quantity. Maybe this whole time it was because I was not emitting the correct stuff. I wasn't seeing an error down there though. Okay, well, now that we know that, thanks for the update, we can say to the signal manager, hey, this needs a quantity. Does make sense. And in the inventory menu, we just make it 1. And let's see, let's take away this breakpoint if it emits correctly. That could have been it. Signal on inventory updated is already connected to given callable resource item in that object. Okay, well, thank you. But we're still not getting it. We're not getting it. Okay. Unless... Okay, hang on a second. Let's just actually confirm the quantity of the... So we hit use a bunch of times, and then we'll go over to here, remote. We could even save the game. That will tell us the quantity of these items. If I go to the actual user folder. Is it just a visual? That is the question. I can't read this. Inventory list. Battery pack 2, Fiend Soda 10. So, as far as I can tell, that's not being updated. The quantity isn't changing. So there is like something weird there. So let's go, and we'll still have quantity here. I think that makes sense, so that we can potentially use multiples if that ever comes up. It's probably mostly going to be 1 quantity, right? So now we can call that, and instead, you play any Steam Next Fest demos? No, I haven't actually. I have been playing Stardew Valley, of all things. I purchased it years ago and just never played it, and then I recently purchased the handheld, and I've been like playing it on that. It's pretty fun. On inventory item used. So now we can connect this to this, and actually it can just be in the ready function. It's a classic, yeah. Although I get kind of bored of it. Like, it's the same. Like, I used to play Harvest Moon when I was a kid, and like the problem I have with it is like after the first couple months, I'm like, all right, what happens next? The game never ends. Oh, actually, I don't know. Can you finish Stardew Valley? I don't know. Okay, I'm convinced we're just not calling. Wait, what the heck? Wait, are we not emitting the signal? We are emitting the signal. We already confirmed that. On inventory item used, player data removal. Okay, put a breakpoint here. Why is this not doing anything? It's pissing me off. Yeah, it's just never getting there. I don't get it. On inventory, am I like calling the wrong signal? On inventory updated, am I emitting the wrong signal? And I'm just like a dum-dum. I've done that before. On inventory item used. I'm receiving the wrong signal. This whole thing. On inventory item used. Yeah, that makes way more sense. Okay. I'm an idiot. Classic. Here we go. It's actually coming through now. Okay, that's fine. I have reasonable confidence. Okay, so we are okay, we are making it through to that, but I don't know if we're using okay, so oh wait, we've got errors. Great. That's good. Progress. Okay, cannot remove item. Error calling signal on inventory 1, dictionary object. Error calling signal. Emit on inventory. Okay, so what's wrong here? Alright, so we refactored this and never updated it here. Okay, that's easy. Yeah, okay, great. Look at that. Now we use everything and we have no inventory. Nothing happens when you do that. It's just, they disappear. How many do we have? We have 2. Why do we only have 2? We should have way more than that. What happened? Let's farm some cash. Yeah, I'm starting to think the I'm starting to think the 3D background will look pretty good. Gives it a lot of depth. Okay, we have 9. We can't see that, it's not very clear. 8. 7. And you lose focus, which is kind of annoying. Yeah, okay, so we can just use these all the time. Global position on previously freed action. What? Is action press jump? Okay, that's funny. So that's a bug. I'm guessing if you press jump and escape at the same time. I need to separate out the controls. Hard one to recreate. Are we... Okay, so... I'm a bit confused because I thought I had more than 2. Are we still saving the inventory? Okay, that's horrible. Yeah, we have 10. Save game. Close. Open. We still have 10. We use 1. Save game. close, open. We still have 9. Let's use both of these. I forgot to save. I'm an idiot. Use, cancel. Okay, so here's probably where it crashed. If I press use again, it's going to cause an error. Now run this again. Just want to make sure that I'm covering all my use cases. Yeah, okay, so invalid access to property global position on object type nil. That's an interesting error. Why am I getting that? The quantity makes sense, but yeah, the jumping, right. So like this is attached to the jump key, and if I load the game and press jump straight away, it crashes. I need to do a check for this. I mean, what? Like, if this inventory is even active, is visible? Is visible in tree? If visible, then actually do this. Otherwise, don't. What the hell? Still crashes. Which means it's visible, but I can't see it. Whatever. If action panel. Won't do it if it doesn't exist. Yes, it will. Because it's a previously freed instance. Okay. Hang on. If is paused. Get tree paused? Is it get tree paused? It shouldn't do it if the game's not paused. Okay, that does, and then this will still work, but I don't know, like, I need to do some research. Mood Gawning to you, Burn Circuit. How's it going? I don't know, like, I need to research, like, how people handle, like, the different menus and states of, like, the game when it comes to, like, action button presses, because, like, I don't know. You know what I mean? It don't make no sense. But yeah, now we just need to set up the one element is trapping multiple fires with buttons, if I heard that correctly. Yeah, pretty much. Like, because I'm using, say, like, the confirm button is the jump button. I need to rename it. So, like, I need to do some research. I've never looked at it because I've never made a game this big. But, like, how do you do that? Like, when there's multiple menus and different states of the game, how do you handle button press detection, especially something like this, where for some reason, I don't really know why, the menu is visible in the game. So it does make sense that it doesn't exist if you haven't, like, they're called modals. Okay, cool. It's not a big deal, but it is something that I'm going to need to understand as the game grows. A modal is a panel with a condition that cannot be escaped or avoided. Huh. I'll have to Google. In the meantime, we will need to actually use an item now. We've got all the rest of the UI working. It seems to just be fine. You know what I mean? Like, I was a bit worried actually about like on use and how that would affect the UI, but it seems fine. Like, it looks normal to me. So then the end of this is really just what happens when you actually use an item. You know what I mean? And how do you do that? Because every item is different. So personally, I think like emitting a callable is probably the best course of action. It's just like where, right? Because if we look at the 3 items that we've created, I guess they're easily viewed in the shop. We've got Fiend Soda, which is like an energy drink. So like you move faster. We've got a battery pack, which gives you more battery. So this is that blue bar there. And then you've got this, which will send you back to the last save point. So this is probably the most impactful. It like would go to the game state to say, essentially trigger a game over, but without the penalty. Not that there is one right now, but in the lore of the game, like when you die, you are not like restarting. Another version of you is being reliquefied. It's like your DNA has been copied. And so like that old version of you is dead. So I guess like you got to go get what was on your body. It won't be super punishing. Maybe I'll even make it so that you can, it's kind of weirdo. Some UI quirks here. But yeah, so like that has to trigger a semi game over. This one's probably the most easiest. Just recharge your suit. There's a simple signal I can call. And then the Fiend Soda is another thing that I would have to custom make. Like I'm going to need a function within the game, within the state machine that is able to accept changes to the movement speed. So you would go to the player. If I remember correctly, window dialog with acceptable dialogue was an inbuilt solution. It's been a long time doing shaders at the moment. Yeah. UI has been kicking my ass. I freaking suck at it. But I guess it's just all a learning process. Okay. That's actually a really good point. Like I was using a panel, but you could easily just use a Windows pop-up and then it would probably like solve all my issues. Anyway. Ugh. So, player state machine. So within the motion, so how does this work? So your run is getting, your speed is actually something that gets calculated in get velocity, which is something within the motion state get velocity, which is essentially just calling to the data. So we can manipulate the data, basically. It should be fine. But the jump distance and the time to apex plus the time to jump land. So there's 2 factors when it comes to calculating velocity is how far you can jump and how fast you can do it. How long you're in the air. And that'll determine how fast you move. So we can say we could increase the jump distance. Increasing the jump distance by default will make you move faster because we're not increasing the time you spend in the air. Or we could reduce the time that you spend in the air, but that's kind of like you're going to affect how high you can jump. If you reduce the time to land and time to jump at apex, so probably jump distance is the way to go. The point is, we need to affect properties. So we could create like a general function on the player. So we could create a on property changed signal. The tricky part is it has to be within the player data. Right? So how the structure of this is, you've got the player data, and then you also have the state machine, the state data, health chunks, max energy, energy bits, this all sit, but then the state data is where your movement data is. So like I'm saying, we would have to affect the jump distance, which is 64 pixels. Like if we wanted our character to move faster, you could change that to be like, just like plus 16 or something like that. So you could make it 80, would that just be? So, because that's an extra block. So that would, I think, would be fine for like something inconsequential like Fiend Soda. We could also make it like exponential, because there is kind of the joke in there that if you eat too many or if you drink too many, then you're going to become a monster. So like, yeah, items are kind of tricky, eh? Like, do you have to create a separate function for each item use? Like, how general can you make it? Like, I can't affect, like, I can't just say on property changed and then you like have a property. I guess it would be property path, and which would be like a string, I guess, and then it's like return a string, and then also like a value. Which would be like float. Let's pop this out. Because then you would be like, oh, I want to change jump distance. So you could copy the property path and then make it the item. That's what it does. Add some space here. So the property path is just jump distance? Surely. It's actually player data dot state data dot jump jump distance. Or you could just create a multiplier. We could create a separate thing to like influence these values. So that would be where you need to get to. So what that would look like? Set. But like, I don't, yeah, I'm honestly not too sure how you even get down to that. Like, I think it's way easier to create separate functions for everything. The other problem is like, how long's a piece of string, right? But we're still gonna need like separate things for this. It's kind of annoying me. Maybe I need to do some research. I am in unknown territory. And I don't know what the best practice is. There's a free modal asset on the store, modal window. Instead of just implementing it, look at the code. Oh, asset lid. Modal. Modal window 2.0. GS lock, this is the one that you're talking about. Username cannot be empty. Easy to use. Stacked multiple windows, rich text customization, supports fully customizable window UI skins. Ah, okay. Damn. The notes are all in Chinese. That's cool though. Support stacked multiple windows. You know what? Though, like, this is meant to be a controller game, so I wonder if that'll work. We'll have to look into it. Pretty cool though. Dude, there's a lot of code for this. Assets? You are okay, so it's not Modal is a project you want to do before any game. I don't even know what you're talking about. Modals. I've made plenty of games. I've never looked at modals before. Where's the scripts for this? Add-ons, modal window. Damn. UID, import, scene. Age container on ready var. A glorified window manager and logic system behind it. Oh, okay. I guess it's like, yeah, you can make like game jam games and never have to think about like how you're going to go with windows and like managing all these different screens and stuff like that. Damn, that's a lot, eh? Modal window manager. This is not so bad. It's a canvas layer. Okay. Default window. And then you call create. Visible listener. Alright, so this is kind of like the... Right. Yeah. I sort of see like, yeah, they're if W is modal window and W dot visible has visible window equals true, then like you're essentially making sure that only input if it's visible, which is sort of like important. Because it's a valid point, like the inventory in the shop, like the inventory menu just takes this input. And then I think as well, for the shop, I don't even know. There's just a button there, I'm pretty sure. The shop's pretty basic at the moment. Right, like I don't think, I'm relying on mouse. I couldn't be bothered to like set up other input. The arrows will just work if you give it focus. You know what I mean? So like you don't really need to worry about input. But yeah, so yeah, right. It's simple enough at the moment that it hasn't been giving me trouble, but I think it will in the future. What about the secret menu? It doesn't take any input either. Okay. That's gonna be a fun one. Okay, so where was I? Oh, I was pondering how to like access all this information via an on-use inventory. And the best practice to do that. I still think a signal to a custom callable is probably the easiest way. And then you just need to set up a separate function for each thing, which is kind of annoying, but like it will work and it will be reliable. Like it's never going to be wrong. So you just set up like on item use. We've already actually got that function, don't we? right? So we've got on inventory item used, we've got the inventory item, and so we can just go and like add a callable to the inventory item and call it, assuming that it's always going to be handled by the player. You know what I mean? And the player can do a lot of this stuff. Like if you're using an item to affect your speed, then that is a player related thing. If you're resetting the game, maybe, not really, but like, it can be here, right? Like you die and then it gets emitted. Like what do we do when health container, when you die, what happens when you die? Zero? What is the function called? Health container, health. Damage taken, health changed. Okay, wait, what happens when you die? Does the player not die? Is it handled by the player health? Heal request, energy used, add health. If not, check health. Check health. If health is zero, emit. No, it just emits a signal, which makes sense. That would be crazy to have it handle the game over. Health 0 goes to the player's state machine. I don't know about that. Oh, okay. So then we emit the death state. And then I'm guessing the death state then will tell the game that it needs to... Yeah, right. You wait for the death state to finish. And then you call game state.game over. Alright. We wouldn't need any of that. Well, I mean, kind of we would. We would just need to call state override. So like if you were doing a reliquify, it would really just be like on reliquify. Used, and then it doesn't take any parameters, and then void, and then we can just call... See, here's the thing, right? Like if I just go state machine dot state override state, what's the function called? Override state, and then pass in death, you will die. But I believe it's... Oh no, it'll be uppercase. So just like the name of the state. That's kind of a problem. Like, realistically, you probably want to have a separate state for that. You know what I mean? Because... I like how we just wait 2 seconds here instead of waiting for the animation player to finish. That works. You could just have like a second state that's like not really a death. Or you could have like a penalty. Like we haven't even handled the penalty yet. We could emit, rather than calling game state.game over, we can emit a signal back to the player on this, and we can determine if there's a penalty. Okay, that doesn't seem like regular music. Okay. So probably best here. We're going to like emit a signal. Signal. Play a reset. Dot emit. And then we can connect to this, play a reset. On death, play a reset. Fine. So then we need to work out like how do you handle penalty? So if your money goes to 0 and you leave behind like a place, like you can go get your money, but in Reliquify you don't lose your money. So you could say you need to create an object, right? There's a whole bunch of stuff, but let's just call gamestate.gameover, because that's all we were doing before. And then for this one, we probably need to create like a separate function, but like we can say override death, and then it's going to come back to this. And then we can just sort of figure out a way to control what to do on re-liquefy used. Okay, so now if I go to the item, say for example, the item inventory item, right? And then we create a function here. Well, not a function. We have an export var callable. Action, which is a callable, right? We can put the name of the function that we want to happen here. And Bob's your uncle, like that just happens, right? So if we go to the re-liquefy, grab that function name. On re-liquefy used, and then the action is a callable. Oh, won't let me. Huh. I thought that would. Anyway. That's interesting. Okay, we'll just make it a string then. Callables as strings? Callable is a pre-built variant type that represents a function. It can either be used as a method or a custom callable used for a different purpose. Is custom, like variant types, can be used to store variables and pass other custom functions. Is most commonly used for signal callbacks. Callable self.printarg. Callable.call hello. Okay, so we can callable.call. Can it just be call hello everyone, my lambda? You can just like pass in a string to a callable, right? Callable.create dictionary.clear. NA Games, good morning, welcome to the stream. I think that would be fine. From object callable from methods string name. Okay, yes. String name is the variable that I want to use then. So then we can go back to inventory item, and this will be a string name. And then we can put that text in there, and then on the player, what we can do is we can say, when we use the inventory, we can say, we probably need to do a check, like has method, like if has method, no, not node. Probably need, oh yeah, it's actually pretty interesting. If has method, it expects a string name as well. Okay, yes. Item.action, right? Then we can call that action. Call. Whoa. And then it just wants a string name. And we can just call item.action. Okay, so this should just like make us die. And I also want to go to the inventory menu and just set up like a, like, I don't know if all items will be like this, but like if you use an item, then I guess like, we can get out of this inventory. So I don't know how we actually handle that. Build inventory, show inventory, clear inventory. How do we hide the inventory? How does the inventory get shown? Game state. Yeah, actually, that's a good question. Where is the inventory sitting? It's in the in-game menu. In-game menu. If visible, show chunks, show inventory. Right, so, oh my god. Go up the chain. Game state would be like, oh right, it's in the input. Yeah, this is where modals and stuff would come in handy, I guess. Game state. Right at the top, buddy. Input. We go, pause. Get tree paused. A dev menu, visible paused. Okay. Oh, we're just pausing and unpausing the game. So I guess we can just do that. That's whatever. Very simple way to manage multiple modals is an old-fashioned array. It focuses on the last element and removes it when it's completed. When modal array is 0, it releases the pause and controls. That's really good advice, but I probably aren't going to do that right now. Although I will take your advice and learn about these modals. I wonder... I'm kind of curious, actually. Is the game... Because the game's paused, is any of that gonna run? If that makes sense. Like, even though I'm calling this, and I'm gonna use this item... Oh yeah, he dies. That's cool though. That works. I mean, I'm happy that, you know, I'm able to cause an event like that pretty easily just by putting the function, the callable, in the item, and then just having that being called on the player. It's pretty straightforward. It does limit us in the kind of items that we can make, because generally speaking, like, we want it to be affecting the player, like certain other items might not. You need to get the pattern perfect in your headspace. Yeah, well, yeah, it's also like I'm trying to make items right now and I don't want to do modals. My brain is like, no, items will be used. So now we can call that. Right, and it doesn't trigger until we unpause the menu anyway, which is fine. Although I think it would be better if it unpaused the menu automatically. Yeah, items are resources. Inventory item is it extends resource, and yeah, it's just a very simple thing. When it gets used, it gets passed back to the player. So originally I was going to have this be directly sent to the inventory resource, which is another resource. So the inventory, it's a resource, but like, honestly, it could just be a dictionary. But you never know. Actually, you know what? I take that back, because I did end up adding like a couple of functions to handling this kind of stuff. Oh my god. It's doing it again. The group, it forgot the group. Think of mega resources that help test the player but never get access to them. They did, it would be overpowered effect. Yeah, you could do that, because like everything is a resource. That's to me, the easiest way to handle like saving and loading your player, like in terms of how much health they have, how fast they can go. If you ever want to change that stuff, everything is a resource. And basically what I do, like, say you go to another room in the game, like the player, like I'm not holding the player in memory. I'm not holding the levels in memory. I'm literally just extracting the resource that's on the player and creating a new player in the next room and putting that resource right on him. And like everything will just go as normal. It's pretty easy, and I don't have to worry about like, because I was exploring the idea of keeping the player in memory and also even keeping the levels in memory. But the problem is a lot of what I've already written relies on ready functions, which don't get called if you keep it in memory. So like, I just was like, too much work to reset. The game is not big enough to warrant like to keep the levels in memory. It doesn't slow down the loading. There are some aspects of this that can be improved. Like I could move to threads. I feel these pain points. It's like, I don't know. You just, once you've done something a certain kind of way, it's like, okay, well, I guess I'm just like in it now. And that's how it's going to be done. And then, yeah, we'll get that. I have to go check on something right now, but I will be back. What should we watch? Another, hey, look, it's me. Can we go to my page? No, we're just watching myself. Just like streamception. That'd be pretty funny. Here, watch a stream clip of me.
Is sort of like
I'll be
Metroidvanias and how they're built up. And one of the things that I've noticed is that, yeah, you've got like more difficult enemies, right? Like ones that'll attack you directly, but you've also got like a lot of enemies that they're not really there to attack you. If you touch them, they will hurt you, but they act as obstacles. So either maybe you walk underneath them, like a spike will fall on top of your head. In Hollow Knight, they're spikes, but in like, say, Metroid, like Samus, Metroid's, well, the one on Super Nintendo, what's that called? Like in Super Metroid, you have those bugs that'll like fly down at you, and then you've got like the things that fly back and forth, like just floating enemies and stuff like that. So when you're moving around the world, you've got something to shoot at or like attack while you're walking along, and B, something that gives you a little bit more engagement when you're platforming because they might be in your way. Those are the kinds of ones that we're going to try and make today. The first one that I wanted to tackle was a crawler type enemy. These are seen in all types of Metroidvanias. One of these bad boys. They just walk along the ground, which should be easy enough to do. It's not going to need to be super complicated. Okay, so we've got some pre-builts that we've already made in the past for damage detection. You could get picky and you could make it so that like this area here doesn't damage the player, but like we're dealing with such low pixel density that if you're like in this area anyway, the chances are you're going to hit it. It's not a big deal, I don't think. We'll worry about that if it does become a problem. And that's realistically it. It doesn't need to detect the player because it just is going to crawl around the box. So how do we do this is the question. And the way that I'm going to do this
it's
is
meception.
with a raycast.
Okay. Definitely a thread. The acoustic stuff after that complicates your world to some degree. I want a thread for the acoustic stuff. I don't know what you mean by acoustic stuff. I did a deep dive on the scriptable object for Unity for my last job. I even had settings, resources that in that mindset. I converted the module to Godot, but I need to finish it for those 2% bugs. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I need to do like the loading of different scenes in in like a separate thread so that it's a little bit more smooth. Because right now I'm just like sending the screen black and then just deleting everything. Well, not deleting everything. I've got like a little basic thing. A thread for the audio, sound effects, and music and acoustic stuff. Ah, right. Yes. Yeah, I've just got an audio stream player interactive. Wait, can you even like control that stuff on separate threads or whatever? I don't even know. I have never looked into it because I've never had to, but we're about to. Oh, it's late, guys. I have got to go and start my day. I gotta go shop for bathroom equipment. I'm refurbing. You can have a resource for bootstrapping the game, setting the FPS settings, VSync, setting resolutions. But far out, it adds a lot more work. Yeah, The FPS is going to be something you have to do because you can detect that, and without it, the pixels start to look really choppy. So like between the two computers, I have two computers, one that I stream on and one that I work on, and they have different frame rate. Like, my advice wasn't making me sleepy. It's more like I was like, oh, I don't know, I have to like really read. I'm gonna have to go read a book, bro. But yeah, it's like the FPS stuff is really important because it makes the pixels go choppy without it. So I will have to address that at some point down the line. I'm gonna make the game first, and then we'll worry about that stuff, I guess. I don't know. I suspect none of this really affects the way the game operates, so it's not a big deal. We shall see. Dude, I gotta fix up my one. I got like so much work to do. Boring stuff that I'll do it tonight. I hope you guys have a good night. I'm assuming it's Friday night or Saturday morning. I don't even know. What time is it around the world? Friday evening. So enjoy your evening or night, depending on where you are. And I'll be back probably tomorrow morning. It's the weekend, and I can just stream until like 10 a.m. Which is pretty sick. Oh yeah, okay, down under. Hell yeah, dude. It's the same time. Actually, it's 9:51 for me because I'm a Queenslander. Oh, I'm starting soon? I'm meant to be ending soon.